YouTube, Danny Staten here. On the Daily Dan Blog, I'm back with another comic book review. Today I'm taking a look at the Microbots, a Gold Key comic book from 1971 with a really cool Cthulhu monster-looking cover on it. What do you think about that? Hey, the Microbots never was a TV show as far as I know, so I can't show no TV show trailers, but it was a movie. But the movie was incredibly crappy and nothing to do with the comic books. So I'm not going to curse myself with a copyright claim and do a trailer. I'm just going to jump right into getting this comic book done for you guys. Inside the front cover, you get giant play zoo animal collection set, and yeah, they were 2 inches, 2 whole inches of wonderful animal replicas. You could have got all 20 of these lovable, adorable animals for $1 back in 1971. That's right, we're taking a look at Microbots, #1 from 1971, a Gold Key comic book that opens up with a really cool story called This Is the Way the World Ends. And isn't that the way it always goes? And to make things even worse, let's put an incredibly confusing panel with a giant monster doing battle with some people at the front of the story. And not even show this part to the middle of the story, so that'll confuse people a lot, right? So, in full wonderful panels brought to you by the Daddy Dan Blog, I have to admire the art in this comic book. It's drawn and illustrated really well. It's got that old comic book smell. And my favorite part is it isn't all glossy and shiny like some of the new crap that comes out these days. Our story starts out with Dr. X and his son Jeffrey in a bunker doing research on a horrible virus that is killing everybody on the planet. People are dropping like flies. They're giving up. Only the few people who's not infected are left. Whatever will we do? But with food stores running out, Dr. X and Jeffrey have no choice but to send the rest of the team out into the world to try to survive on their own, to try to find another lab and create another cure. Maybe we'll get lucky and they will survive as the rest of the team heads out into the world. Dr. X and Jeffrey wave. Bye. Bye, bye, bye. For days and weeks, Dr. X works feverishly trying to find a cure for the pathogen destroying the people. To finally, the food runs out. They're very hungry, and there's no chance for survival. There's only one thing Dr. X and little Jeffrey can do. In the bowels of the building, they put themselves in cryogenic sleep. And hopefully, if the human race makes it, we will be found and revived. If not, we'll never know. We'll never know, little Jeff. And with drama like that, you gotta have a commercial. That's right, you get a commercial for Mark's Jewelers, or Mark Jewelers, where you could have had military emblem rings, high school rings, gay rings, all kind of rings. You could have had any kind of rings you wanted, right? All you had to do was order them out of your comic book, because I'm sure kids reading comic books had this much money back in 1979. You don't know, some of them things are pretty cheap. Must be some of that there cubic zirconia for that $8 one, right? Yeah. Dun 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 dun. We flash forward 2,000 years. 2,000 years into a strange new future. A strange new future where kids hunt dressed like cavemen. The world has reverted. Knowledge has been lost. They now tote spears again and become hunter-gatherers. And the oldest teenager who leads them, Bam Bam! No. Bam Bam, Bam Bam Bam. That's Bam Bam from the Flintstones. That's right, Bam Bam has made his way to comic book. Wait a minute, this came out way before the Flintstones, right? Or did it? I don't know. Anyway, Bam Bam from the Flintstones is going to lead us down a path. Bam Bam from the Flintstones is on a hunt. Bam Bam from the Flintstones encounters Cthulhu. No, that's not Cthulhu. It's a giant, mutant, mastodon thing. Okay, we're just going to call it a mutant, right? It's a mutant from the future. The radiation or the virus must have affected a elephant, turned it into a mammoth monster. That's my synopsis from this unexplainable event as it chases young Bam Bam through the forest of the future. Bam Bam falls through a trap. Well, a weakened floor panel, which a roof panel that once housed an underground base. With a slam and a bam, young Bam Bam hits the ground. He hits the ground as he fell through the roof, which was the ground to him of an underground complex. An underground complex. He thinks he's in a nightmare world, as the underground complex houses many flashing lights and computery things that he does not understand. He sees two appears to be bodies wrapped in glass. From a panel beside there, a red light is flashing, speaking words he does not understand. A tiny red flame with no heat. He pushes to touch it, and it clicks and makes a strange wah, wah, wah noise as Dr. X and Jeff arise. It's not possible. The demons, they stir, they live. Young Bam Bam, whose name is really Vic. I'm just going to call him Bam Bam because I do that. Young Bam Bam cannot believe these two creatures are alive. These strange dressed things must be demons. But he is quickly explained to by Professor X and his son Jeffrey that I am not a demon. I am a free man. I'm not a demon. I'm a free man. Wah, 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 wah. And with all that action, we get a commercial break. We get to chill for a minute. We get to sit back and relax and look at these really cool commercials for the Monster Ghost. The 7 foot of fear that you could have had and hung on the back of your closet door. I had one that looked like Frankenstein. I had a Dracula. And I had a gothic hot chick when I ordered from Europe. I wonder if they still exist somewhere in a box. Hey, I also had these stinking, nasty, shrimpy, sea monkey things that you could have ordered back in 1971. What a ripoff. I'll tell you what, buddy. Suddenly a crashing sound from above them as the giant mutant mastodon bison elephant thing comes crashing down, tearing through the old laboratory, destroying stuff to the left and the right. The professor says, I have a plan. Let me unleash my security system. And he unleashes his tiny robot security system that he calls Microbots. Dun 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 dun, title drop, Microbots. Dun 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 dun, title drop, Microbots. That's right. The first time we hear the title is the Microbots come warming up and rolling out. Professor X, Jeffrey, and Bam Bam, whose super strength did not help him in this case, go one-on-one with the giant mutant thing, which apparently has some tentacles like an octopus. Dude, this is Cthulhu. Cthulhu, the creator. Cthulhu has all the, I don't know, but it's Cthulhu-looking thing. I don't see how Cthulhu-looking thing is in this book, but it's a mutant, right? I ponder this creature with its giant tentacles. I ponder this thing with its great mastodon. What do you call him? With its great mastodon tusk. I had to look that up. Jesus Christ, what a bad day. The little robots roll out into action. Bashing, crashing, firing lasers. The little robots attack Cthulhu as the biggest of the little robots roll out. The one they call Violence. That's right, Violence. And Violence fires off his mighty laser. Zap! Zap! Hitting Cthulhu right in the face. Blowing Cthulhu's tiny little brains at the backside of his head. Oh my God! Cthulhu falls to the ground with a great, incredible thump, causing the roof to collapse. Professor X shoves Bam Bam and little Jeffrey out of the way as the rocks come down and crush him. Jeffrey and Bam Bam dig out Professor X. Professor X lays moaning, telling Jeffrey, you and Bam Bam must go on. Jeffrey, you are the scientist now. You must teach these cannibals and heathens, the ways of the future. You must bring them back. You must bring back Earth and technology. It's on your shoulders now, young Jeffrey, and Bam Bam and young Jeffrey. Barry, Professor X, and Jeffrey and his Microbot allies head off with Bam Bam to the village. Boy, here's something I remember well. We get a 2-page ad. That's right, a 2-page ad where you can add any 14 of these wonderful records for $2.96. Does anybody remember the Columbia House Record and Tape Club? I love the Columbia House Record and Tape Club. By the time I was old enough to order these things, they were giving away 12 for a penny. That's right, 12 for a penny. I tore them up. I ordered them at my grandma's house, my cousin's house, my brother's house, my mom's house. I had so many records for a penny. Well, I guess this is a good time to take a break and tell y'all about my shout-outs like I always do. You should expect it by now. I want to give a special shout-out to Dave Sunstorm. You know him and his brother Steven Sunstorm. The good stuff, guys. Hey, Dave, if you actually watch this video, let me know if this Microbots is good stuff. The biggest shout out on the list, my partner in crime, Thrash Pondo Ponds. You know, Thrash Pondo Ponds saved every one of us. You can find Thrash Pondo on YouTube. Be sure to check out his channel. I'll share it in my community post a couple of times so you can find Thrash Pondo Ponds. And of course, be sure to check out BBB, Brain Benders Banners. You can see me over on BBB show on Saturday nights, trying not to use too much bad language. And you can be sure to check out my friend Corey at Corey's Comedy Channel. If you need a laugh, he's the man that'll provide it, I'm sure. Yeah. And here is Pat McCormick at the Golden Rage TV right there. Be sure to check out Pat McCormack, and if you don't say his name right, he will be upset. And a quick read-off of the rest of the guys. BK on the air. Big Guys 45s. Hey, Sarah, my flock is everywhere. We love that girl. The Nostalgic Pod Blast. Say it right. Be sure to check out Chance at the Nostalgic Pod Blast. Blast! And Retro Nerd Girl. AAP Homestead. We miss you guys. AAP for life. Be sure to check out my friend Eric at the Unapologetic Geek, and every other week or so you can see me over there talking to him about movies and stuff. The Life and Sad Endings channel. Good channel. I always enjoy it. And most of all, let me give a very special shout out at the end to Eric Wood over at Gypsy Road. Welcome back, Eric, with your hot new channel. I'll share that out in the community post, too. Microbots! Day of the Juggernaut. Alrighty, we're going to get another story about Bam Bam and Jeffrey in the future. So in full wonderful panels brought to you by the Daddy Dan blog, we're going to see Jeffrey and Bam Bam in the future. We're going to see Jeffrey and Bam Bam go to meet the tribe here in Valley of the Dinosaurs. No, that wouldn't be Valley of the Dinosaurs. I ain't seen but one mutant monster. So I wouldn't call it Valley of the Dinosaurs, but I will say these guys over here at this tribe, they look like they waiting for Thundar to show up. I'll give them that. So here in the future, Thundar's tribe meets the weird black child from the future that they think he must be a demon. Look at his skin. Oh, only in 1970s would you get a comic book about a group of white people who survived an apocalyptic future with nuclear holocaust and deadly viruses. Only would you get a comic book in the 70s where the only black child to survive so far is seen as the demon. That's right, his skin's black. He must be a demon. Little Bam Bam accepted him not to be the demon. But apparently the other tribesmen don't know him, and they're not all accepting right now. It's going to take some convincing right there, buddy. Anyway, little Jeffrey and Bam Bam run off to the woods with the robots to hide, light a fire, and think it over. Oh, jeez. And then you get a commercial. That's right, a commercial for one of the coolest cameras they ever made back in the 1970s. That's right. It was the Instamatic 44 camera. You know, I had an Instamatic camera, but I think my first one was maybe a C110. But my first little camera was something similar to this, and it almost got me ate by a monster. You can see me tell that story in other videos and on live streams on the Daily Dan blog. Daily Dan's starting to get some disturbing buys from these two young men who run and cohort really well through the bushes. Nature boys they are, eating their apples together as they discover the old Fort Smith arsenal as they own the Fort Smith military grounds. Barbed wire that they managed to penetrate quite easy. Laser eye detection devices that no longer work. A barracks on top of barracks in computer rooms they must explore. Young Jeffrey turning switches and dials. Young Jeffrey, not the brightest light bulb in the pack, as a whistle sounds. That's right. That's when Jeffrey gets the idea to build a city. What the heck? He's going to build a city. Let's just start getting some parts. He has his robot friends here in the future start gathering glass and little metal bars and stuff to build their city. You know, they couldn't just fix up the one they're in. They want to go build a whole new city because Jeffrey may be the stupidest person who ever lived. As the tribe comes running and screaming and hollering, a thunder beast has arose. A thunder beast destroyed some of the village. A thunder beast is killing people. A thunder beast, a monster comes. Run for your life. Grumble, grumble, grumbly, grumbly, grumbly. And oh my God, it looks like a tank. That's right, a tank has woke up. Meet the Juggernaut, a robot tank that has been activated when some idiot pushed a button in an arsenal. Wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah, wah. Dumbest child alive. Juggernaut senses the presence of the children and the tribe's members and attacks. Oh no. Microbots, assemble! Screams Jeffrey, and the Microbots scream into action. Big boy robot, Microbot runs over and puts I'm not going to call all these things by their names. The big one runs over and puts the kibosh on the Dreadnought, but Dreadnought runs him over like a tin can and rolls on by. Dreadnought being accosted has upset the Dreadnought. They run over to check on Robot, but they're made ulster tough. They're indestructible. He just got squished down into a hole shaped like his body. Walk, walk, walk. That seems like a Flintstones cartoon right there, don't it? Boy, I guess that's why they got Bam Bam up in here. Bam Bam and Jeff run for cover, but it don't last long as Dreadnought crashes through the walls of the old structure. Jeffrey says, Microbots, attack! And Microbots attack, firing their photon-tubed lasers. I BS you not, they called it photon-tube lasers. Photon-tube lasers. That could be the first use of the word photon in a laser or firing scenario ever mentioned. Hey, it's monster-sized monsters. That's right, I had plenty of these. Didn't we see a commercial for these guys earlier? Only it wasn't quite so big. It wasn't so cool. You know, by the time I ordered these things, I think they cost $2.99 each. The price had done went up 3 times as much. In the 70s, I think that might have something to do with Jimmy Carter, but I'm not sure. Hey, Frankenstein and the Skeleton featured in this ad, and you could have had a big cardboard submarine, and that always worked out well when you took it to the lake. I wonder how many kids drowned it in their cardboard submarine. Oh, God. Should have painted it yellow. Puny human, do you really think your puny metal fleas can sting the hide of an awesome creature? What? This thing talks. This thing speaks, hollers Bam Bam. Jeffrey says it's artificial intelligence, so he tries reasoning with it. And this works to a certain extent as this thing has recognized them as children and no longer wants to squish them, so I guess that's a good thing. Okay, lesson in the future. If you're a big giant machine, if you're artificial intelligence, don't trust Bam Bam and Jeff and their little robot puny robot tin cans, which open you up like a tin can, crawl down inside of you, and rig you to explode? What? Really? That's what you get for trusting him, Juggernaut. Juggernaut thought he was going to join the crew, be the leader of the Microbots. Instead, Juggernaut winds up a pile of junk out in the woods somewhere. All the natives are in awe at the big crater left when Juggernaut blew to little bitty smithereens. And yet the natives are still standoffish of the boy with the black skin. Go back and tell your tribe and your people a new way's coming. You have a demon leader. What? And anyway, Bam Bam and Jeff plan the future. They plan to build a city. Heck, they got their microbots in action, and they've already laid down the framework for a new beginning. And then you get a commercial for whatever in the blue hell this is. You could have had a Bite Whiz ring. You could have had a Big Chew. You could have had a candy bar. You could have got sick. You could have got diabetes. You could have died. Hey, you could have ordered 100-piece toy soldier set for $1.25. Once again, I think it cost a little more when I ordered it, but it turned out to be the biggest ripoff that ever existed. Little teeny tiny half-inch size soldiers that were really just flat, thin, stand-up looking things. I digress. And I'm not real happy about the back cover of this comic book. It's not in great shape for this cruel obstacle run. You could have had these toys, I guess, if you ordered them, these gyro-powered monsters back in 1971. I had an Evel Knievel that did that. Well, that's my look at the Microbots, number 1 from 1971, a go-key comic book. Let me know what you thought about this in the comments below. Great art on the cover. I think I bought it just for the number 1 factor in that really cool cover, but you can't beat a number 1 comic book. And it's from 1971. That's a real old classic, right, guys? Till next time, this is Danny Staten on the Daily Dan Blog. Be sure to check out everybody I mentioned in my shout-outs. Be sure to like, subscribe, ring that stupid bell, and I'll be back with something probably a little bit worse next time. Till next time, blog over, dudes.